everybody, Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me, and this is the card that I've been making today. So I made this as a Mother's Day card. Now Mother's Day in the UK happens before Easter. I know in other parts of the world it happens a little bit later on in the year. And this is an upright Z-fold card. So if I pull down, it reveals inside my little teacup and another little message, and there's space there for me to write a sentiment if I want to, or I could write it on the back. This kind of card is very, very easy to make. Now, when I made it, it was not without incident, but that wasn't because the card was hard to make, it was because I'm an idiot. Stay with me and I'll show you what I mean. This is my base card. I've cut it to 11.5 inches by 4, which is the size that I like to work on. Scored and folded it halfway at 5 3/4, and I'm going to score it at 2 7/8 of an inch. And now I'm going to fold that into a Z fold. And that is going to be the base of my card. I'm going to cut my paper to 3 3/4 of an inch by 5.5 inches. And then I'm going to cut it again at 2 3/4 of an inch, which should be halfway. Does that look like halfway? Yep. I'm just checking that I've got this piece of DSP the right way round, so that where I've cut it lines up. And I'm going to start with the bottom piece, and I'm going to give it some liquid adhesive, and I'm going to place it on my card so that the edge of the cut piece of paper lines up with that fold. Okay, I want it to be there pretty much exactly. And now I can bring my other piece of paper, give that some liquid adhesive, and making sure that I've got it the right way round so that my pattern matches. I'm just going to put that onto the back panel of the card. So I have something that looks a bit like this. I'm using a number of different dies in this card. I'm using dies from Stitched So Sweetly, Tea Time, and Rectangle Stitched. And I've gone ahead and cut those out using my die cutting machine. In my case, it's a Big Shot. And I've cut these out of Whisper White, and I will just stop there. So I've done my die cutting off camera, and I've cut out the teapot, the cup and saucer, and the large flower. And I want to stamp on them with the stamps that go with them. And I could have done it the other way around. I could have done my stamping first and then use the die cuts to cut round what I'd stamped, but I kind of like doing it this way because I do think it gives me a very, very good edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a teapot, and I will do all 3 of those pieces, but for the sake of time, I'll just show you the teapot. Okay, so I'm inking it up with basic grey ink because I want something that's a little bit softer than the Memento Tuxedo Black, and I'm just stamping that onto a piece of scrap card on the base of my Stamparatus. So now I'm going to take the waste from the piece that I stamped, and I'm going to arrange that around my stamped image, and I'm going to hold it down. I'm going to use the magnet in this particular case. I could have used some sticky tape, that would have been fine. And I'm going to fit my die cut teapot back into the space and ink it up again. And just press that down. And now that is perfectly stamped with a perfectly even edge around the side. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for the teacup and for the flower. That's all my stamping done. I added a few more flowers and buds here and there. Now I'm going to do some colouring. Now, because I stamped in basic grey ink, which is water-based, I'm going to colour in using my stamping blends, which are alcohol-based. So the colours that I am going to be using, I have dark and light petal pink, dark and light calypso coral, dark and light soft sea foam, ivory, and light smoky slate. So I'm just going to crack on with this, speed things through, give you some music to listen to, and I'll talk to you again when I've finished. I'm going to start putting the pieces together now. So this is a piece of petal pink, which I've cut with the stitched rectangles, and this is calypso coral, which has been cut with the, can't remember what they're called now, the other rectangles. And I'm just lining that up. Now, they're not quite the same proportions. The stitched rectangles are a little bit longer in proportion to their width than this fancy mat here. So whenever that happens, you give more weight to the bottom of your piece. And another piece of petal pink. Yeah, by making the bottom part just a little bit deeper, it kind of gives you the illusion that you're looking in to that piece. All right, so those are my mats all nicely layered up, and now I'm going to place my pieces. So I'm going to put the cup on the inside of the card so that when you open it up, You see it there. So we'll put some liquid adhesive on that and pop that on the inside. This is a nice little surprise for whoever opens the card. And let's put my liquid adhesive onto my teapot, which is almost coffee pot shaped, actually. I do like a cup of tea. I know there are people out there who absolutely swear by coffee, but I'm a cup of tea sort of girl. It's what I grew up with. Put my rose about there. And the nice thing about liquid adhesive is that it gives you a little bit of wiggle time. And on the back at the top I have put some dimensionals. But not at the bottom. And I'm just going to centre that on the pad. Let me bring this in so you can see what I'm doing, because I'm a bit of a terror for going off and doing things kind of where you can't see what I'm doing. Okay, and that is very nearly done. I just need to add sentiment. And I have stamped Happy Mother's Day onto a piece of petal pink with my it's not grey granite, it's basic grey ink, and I've cut it out with one of the Stitched So Sweetly dies. That's the name of the die set that I couldn't remember early on. And I'm going to just touch the edges with a little bit of grey granite, which is a nice warm grey. I'm going to try and find a home for that on the front of the card here. So I kind of like it there. Just going to see if I can ease up the corner of that leaf just slightly and just tuck that underneath. Yes, I can. See, it helps if I think these things out before I put them together. But this is me, and that's never going to happen. Okay, so it just sits in there, just like that. And I'm going to give it some bling to finish it off. So I've got here the From My Heart faceted gems. And I'm just going to, let me see, just put some spots of liquid adhesive just here and there, and let's pick up some of these gems. It helps if I take the top off the sticky picker upper too. And there we go. So let's have that one. Let's pop that there, and let's have a little diddy one to go there, and one more can go there. And I'm not 100% sure about where I want these, so I'll just push them around a little bit till I feel a little bit happier. And I want something up in this corner here now, so again a little bit of my liquid adhesive. And these come in kind of all sorts of sizes, but I'm trying to go for some of the smaller ones. Got some nice little diddy ones here. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to play with that for a little bit, and then I'll come back and show you the finished item. Okay, so did you spot the deliberate mistake? I really should not have put glue on that part of the sentiment and then stuck it down to the card underneath. So I did try to get it back up, but as you can see, it wasn't particularly successful. There's still some of the paper left there, which I'm going to try and get off with my sand eraser. And as you can see, trying to remove it is just making matters worse. So we're going to fix it. Okay, and this is what we're going to do. I've stamped another sentiment, Love is a Warm Cup of Tea, from the same stamp set, and I'm going to line that up onto the back of my label. Okay, so I'm holding those two together, and I'm going to put my liquid adhesive onto my new sentiment, and I'm just going to close that down. And it's a little bit raggedy along there, but I don't think anybody will notice. And now when we open it up, there's another little surprise inside for the recipient. Now I also managed to get ink on my thumb and drop that onto my sentiment. So we're going to get a nice big gem and we're going to plonk it over the top, and it's a fairly blingy card, so people are just going to think that that's what we made. Yeah, so yeah, I'm an idiot. But we managed to rescue it in the end. So thank you for staying with me through all the changes of design direction. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, do come back and see me again sometime soon, won't you? But for now, bye bye.